Genah, right over here. How you doing, first of all?
Good, thank you. How are you?
Good. I remember last time I was speaking to you, you were trying to head back home, but you ended up staying in Las Vegas. Can you explain the decision in staying here in Las Vegas and training over there?
Yeah, so basically last year, my last fight was August of 2021, and I haven't been able to get home since. Basically, our country shut down due to all the lockdowns and COVID and whatnot. So I knew that would be the case in taking that fight at that point in time. And then I was the alternate for the final, so I was staying at least till November. But just with our government and our system at that time and how it worked in terms of getting back into our country and the borders, it was a shit show basically. And I had to kind of extend my stay, unaware of when I'll be able to get home exactly. Then the borders opened. Then the Delta variant, or the Omicron, or whichever one broke out, and then they shut back down again. So just as I thought I was going to be able to get back, that got shut down. And then I had to wait for some visa, the visa process. And as soon as that was cleared, it was getting. I just had started camp, and so my team and I and my head coach Eugene Berryman. We decided to keep the momentum and keep the flow and the schedule that I had, and he was happy with where I was at and what I was producing, because we were constantly in talks, and he was across everything since I've been here. So, and with the coaches that I was working with. So yeah, we just made a consecutive decision to stick it out until this first one, and then after this I'll be going home, finally.
And how do you feel with having Ray Seffel in your camp? How has that helped your team?
Yeah, Ray's the man, he's from the same country and of the same heritage, so we just have that, automatic kind of bond and relation, but he's also who he is. He's a legend, and to learn from someone like that, have his energy, have his presence, have his advice and his help is invaluable to me, and it's something that I'm really grateful for, and extremely lucky to be aligned with him. So yeah, no, he's amazing.
And last one for me, there was a time where you got in that car accident, you were down, you were home for long periods of time, depressed in that sense. There was a time to where people couldn't leave their house, in this past COVID time period. Did that experience help you in that time, and what's something you can tell to somebody who's dealing with a very dark time in their lives?
Yeah, I've been through so many experiences. That you just reminded me, bad car accident I had many years ago. It's kind of like I've forgotten about that, but it's just life, that's teaches us who we are and how we bounce back from things, tough situations and tough times. As cliche as it all sounds, but you just keep going and you figure out a way and you do the best you can, and control the controllables. It's a real thing. You just control when things are uncertain or crazy, or an unexpected, unfortunate event occurs. You just can control. You got to really bring it back to zero, to scratch. What can you do? What can you control to move forward, to not stop, and to make the best out of the situation at the time. And eventually, just like anything, time passes, and bad times don't last. So, just keep going.
Genah, so Julia, as we all know, she is a veteran and she has three winners in a row. What areas have you been focused on the training to fight her?
My game and my strengths, it's no secret. I have been across everything. I think since my last fight in August, heavy focus on my wrestling and grappling aspect. I was fortunate enough to have my wrestling coach stateside with me, Frank Hickman. So we got to work, and he put me through it. Just to, I don't come from a wrestling background, grappling background. I'm a striker, so we just dedicated that time. If anything, I didn't strike much at all until camp started, because leveling up the bases and the holes in my game. So I would say that, but all in all, my overall game and my plan is to keep it where I want to keep it, but with a lot more behind me now. So, and a lot more that gives you confidence and gives you true, true confidence in your abilities to do and keep it where you want to keep it. So, I'd say probably that's the biggest aspect of my game that I've really leveled up in and feel a lot more cemented in now.
How much you learn from that fight with Kayla?
It's invaluable, a disappointing result like that will either send you one of two ways. And of course, I was disappointed. I know I can beat her, and the main goal this year is to meet her again. First things first, Friday night, a tough opponent in Julia Budd. But I want to meet her again because I didn't even get to fight or show myself or touch her that fight. So it was kind of a mental freeze on that end. So if anything, I flipped that. So I flew back to Colorado at the time, Friday, and I was in the gym Monday, and I've not taken my foot off the gas since that time because that was a huge fuel in my fire, and more so than the techniques and the skills that I've developed and worked on throughout this time. It's been a mental and perspective change. If anything, that's been the biggest advancement in my overall game and being.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Genah, you've talked a lot in the past in terms of just how important it is to build that mindset of a fighter, and as well as the physical skills in training. Just kind of talk about how big that is for your game in terms of how you've developed your mind.
I think experience, and how you handle those experiences. Some things, you have great people and team and whatnot around you, but a lot of things you have to go through and experience truly yourself to overcome or learn some things or be even made aware of things, as you go along. And people don't realize, like, this Friday will be my 6th MMA fight. I didn't have a MMA amateur career. I'm learning at the highest levels on one of the top promotions in front of everyone. And I have a Muay Thai background, absolutely, but it's a different beast. And so that experience has been invaluable to me, and all of it, the loss against Kayla, the wins, the everything, the camps, the weight cuts, the traveling, the different teams and whatnot. So I feel, and it'll continue, of course, but I just feel so much more solid and cemented, not just in my game, but in myself as a fighter and when I'm out there. So that'll just continue. And I'm really happy of where I'm at and what I've learned today.
Genah, what do you think of the division this time around? Obviously, the biggest addition that a lot of people have been, talking about is Julia, and you get to face her in the first round. So, what would it mean to you to go out there and start off the season knocking off the person that everybody's been talking about as the hot new addition this year?
That's going to be huge. It's going to be a great name for me to have and knock off, like you said. And that's how I see it. She's, experienced veteran. Great pioneer, for the sport. But I just think I know that I've got a lot more to negate her and stop her on Friday night and get that win, and that's all that matters at this point. And it's not to take away any of her great wins and experience and where she's at, but I'm excited because I see this my 6th pro MMA fight is my best one yet, and I relish in the fact that I'm going to be able to test myself against someone of that caliber.
And you mentioned that she's kind of a pioneer. She's got 3 losses, all of them to legends. Ronda, Cyborg, Amanda Nunes. So how would it feel to have your name among those in her losses?
Yeah. So when throughout the when we got the name and we confirmed the bout. I didn't realize those were her only losses to those names, like you said. So I didn't really think about it. We were actually just looking at her tendencies and what she does. So I was like, okay, this is what I can do here. This is what she tends to do, and game planning for her. But yeah, so I don't really think about it, but when I was made aware of that, I was like, that'll be cool. My name will be in the mix too, and that's the goal. Come Friday, to be to be amongst those three, top names, to beat her.
Genah, you briefly mentioned all the wrestling you've done in this camp. On fight night, though, are we going to see a different Genah or just an improved version of the old one?
Just an improved version of the old one. That is there, and all that work and all the leveling up on that grappling and wrestling side that I've done is so I can do what I do best and what I like to do, and that's strike and hit and move and not be hit, essentially. That's in me, but it's to only strengthen my game and my strengths and what I do best. Yeah. So but it's if it comes out and if I find my opportunities, I'm going for it. But I'm also going to fight smart as well. She's a tough opponent, skilled opponent, and to take her out any way I can will be great. But I'm not a dumb fighter either. I come from a very great team who break down this sport and these opponents, at the highest level. So I'll be sticking true to as much as I can to that game plan. But it'll definitely be there when she likes to clinch and be up against the cage. So do I. So I'll meet her there if it gets there, for sure.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank
Do you
you.
have a picture?
Oh, yeah.